Palia. Let's talk about it. So, what is Palia? Palia, according to MMORPG.com, I will be leaving a link down below because I am going to leave it there because they don't have really a description on their website, but on this site they have what it is. Palia is a massively multiplayer community simulation game set in a brand new high fantasy world with elements of open world adventure games inspired by Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley. It's cozy and welcoming world for fans of the community, food, resources. That's basically it. I haven't seen anything that says otherwise, though that is subjected to change as this is a beta, an open beta at this stage. So I have decided to do a category system to try to make the process of editing this video a little easier, as well as instead of being an overall review, it's going to break it down into categories and try to give you a little peek at like my ranking in this. So there are 5 different types of categories, and the categories that we are going to do is gameplay. Graphics is number 2. Category 3 will be sound design. Number 4 will be over the story, and then the last one will be replayability. I will also quickly note here too, I am not an expert in doing game reviews. This is just a casual gamer's review over games, and usually I put about around 30 plus hours into a game before I do a review over it. I may not speak for everybody. This is mostly my opinion over the game. This is my review. Take it with a grain of salt. You guys have been warned. Like I said, I am not an expert, so I do not speak for everybody. This is just my own opinion. This is my own ranking in this. Overall, with the gameplay, I would have to say the engagement and the immersion is very much there. If, per se, they had the option to have your own private server, I could see this going heavily into role-playing while still doing like the main story stuff if you wanted to. You didn't have to if you don't want to, but definitely could. I don't know if they're going to offer though private servers. That'll be something that we'll have to see in the future, but not 100% sure on that. The only reason why I say that is because there's a person I watch who is part of the late shift, and they usually do like eco RP and everything else like that, and they have private servers to do that, and they have like this whole backstory and everything else like that, and there's a whole bunch of people that set it up for them to get the ball rolling basically, and the devs work with them. The mechanics are very simple. You can do what you want when you want. You can go to stores. You don't have to worry about talking to people if you don't want to, etc. The controls are very user-friendly. If you get lost or confused or anything like that, you can always go into the settings and figure out your controls and everything else like that, unless you're currently on controller with beta version right now, because they do not have the buttons for that. You basically have to figure it out as you go. Do I find any unique features or innovations that this game has? Yeah, it's the first of its kind. I don't think I've ever seen another cozy MMO game. Since COVID happened, like a lot of games have been centered around coziness, being with your friends, your family, just having that you time with your friends and doing things that you love. It's kind of like how Xbox back in the day, and PlayStation and Nintendo and all of them beforehand, Sega, GameCube, etc., would bring the family together. There was couch co-op, and I believe it was Halo's what brought the couch co-op like really home for that, and that's kind of like what this game gives. Definitely one of the unique features of the game, and a lot of games will probably be modeled after this for an MMO type of cozy game. MMO is very broad. You have to remember that it's not going to be like your typical MMOs, which are usually dungeon crawler type games, grinding to the earth, as well as like just trying to get to like in-game stuff. This is not that at all. 100% not that. With gameplay though, I would say I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. Because a lot of, like, the immersion's great, perfect. Mechanics are great. The unique features, perfect. The controls though are a little wonky for me right now because I am using a controller. It's not that I just don't refuse to use my mouse and keyboard, it hurts my hands. And I know a lot of people will like bash on me for that, but yeah, it hurts my hands. So 7.5 for gameplay for Palia. Moving on to category number 2, graphics. Visual style, very similar to Dreamlight Valley. Like, that's gonna take off points. However, they don't go to the ends of the earth like Dreamlight Valley did. There's very selective things that they have for Dreamlight, or for Palia. I don't know, it just, to me, aesthetically, just looks visually the same. It has kind of like that toy figurine kind of feel, kind of plasticky feel. Their detail though with the game is phenomenal, like absolutely phenomenal. I'm on high settings, which I usually never am on high settings for any of the games that I play. With this, I can crank it up to that, and it's still, no matter like where I put it at, it's still so good looking. It definitely like draws you in, like you should be there in that time period, that fantasy, that you can live that life. But the toy plasticness feel isn't like my forte, but it's not so bad to where like I don't not want to play it, you know? Like, I forget about it like after maybe 10-20 minutes. Overall, my ranking for that is, I'm gonna give it a solid 8 on that. It's really good. I would give it a little bit higher, probably like 8.5. We'll do that. We'll give it an 8.5. For sound design, again, I'm deaf. It's really hard to hear things. Overall, for me, on myself, it knocks it out of the ballpark. I don't know how else to describe it. It really does. It knocks it out of the ballpark. It feels like it's natural. Like all of these sounds are supposed to be there. It doesn't feel AI generated. Is that the best I can really describe it? Like AI generated. It doesn't feel oversaturated. It doesn't feel like something you've heard repeatedly throughout another game. It feels like they're all unique sounds, and it's perfect. And then with the voice acting, like there are voice lines from the characters, so you get an idea of what they sound like, but you also have text. So like if you have the inner monologue, your inner monologue turns into their voice, and it's like so perfect. At least to me it is. It makes it more immersive and enjoyable to play the game. This I'm gonna give a solid 9. The reason why I didn't give it a solid 10 is because I am deaf, so there are certain things that I can't like really hone in on, and it really kind of counteracts like the overall sound. So instead of giving it like a 10 out of 10, I'm giving it a 9 for that simple fact is it's me, I'm the problem type of situation. Moving on into story for category 4, the narrative. I haven't made it very far in the game, to be honest with you. I feel like I'm at a standstill right now in the game. Overall, like, you get tidbits of lore like dripped into everything, and you get a sense of being there with the characters in that moment, in that time, and you have this amazement and this curiosity of just, what's going on? What are you doing? You're making carrot soup? I want some of carrot soup. You know, it's all of that. There's definitely a lot of character development. I can see they, whenever you first meet the characters, they're very suspicious of you. But whenever you start earning their trust tidbit by tidbit, you get a little bit more personality from them. And it's just like, icing on the cake. It's like really good. It goes really depth into their emotions. It throws out plot twists that you didn't think of or didn't even think would happen. It just gives you a lot of that magic that video games give you. And that's how it feels to me. The player engagement, for me personally, it's kind of meh. It's there, but it's not there. You interacting with other people in the MMO is like a typical MMO. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, it's there. You're interacting with the story. It's good. It's a good thing. But interacting with other players, it's kind of like a 50-50 chance of either you're going to be ignored, you're going to be yelled at, you're going to start an argument, etc. It's all over the place there. Overall, with that though, I would have to say the story itself is probably a solid 8. The only reason why I knocked it down 2 points was because of the player engagement, because I don't see much quite yet, and I don't want to give it too high of a score. I would probably knock it down to 7, but I think an 8 is where it should be. Replayability. I feel like this game will be replayable no matter what. Like, I'm heavily into it right now. Like, I can't stop playing it. It's just so much fun. It's kind of like whenever you play Minecraft and you stop playing it after a while, and then you just get like that hankering to play it again, and then you get on that binge and that high of, ooh, I'm in Minecraft, I want to mine, I want to build, I want to destroy these creepers, I want to go do all the things that they've added new in. It's kind of like that. I don't know if there's going to be multiple endings. I don't know if there's different things that's going to affect how the ending ends. I don't know. I don't think it will. I think it'll keep it pretty much trying to keep it going for, I would say, probably the next 5 years, if not longer, for an MMO, because World of Warcraft has been going on for ages and there are still people playing that game. But with the COZY MMO, I'm giving it 5 years because it can very heavily go downhill very quickly, or it can stay afloat for a few years, but I wouldn't say any more than probably 5 years. But, you know, I could be wrong. It's a free-to-play game. People love free-to-play games. They're gonna go for it and try it out and see what it's all about. The side quests are so much fun, but they are so annoying sometimes. Like right now, I'm struggling with finding a certain fish, and I, for the life of me, cannot find this fish no matter where I go, no matter the guides that I have seen on like the wiki page or whatever. Nothing is helping me, so I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or if it's just not super up to date because of like things being implemented, patches going through, etc. There's not really any special features that I can tell at the moment other than it is a COZY MMO, like beginner-friendly MMO. That's all I can say for that. My overall enjoyment, though, of the game is a solid 9.5, a 9.5. I would give it like a full 10, but like there's certain things that like you don't know, like, okay, if the story ends really quickly, you don't know if they're going to add more stuff to it because it is a beta. So betas are things that like allow you to break the multiplayer aspect earlier so that way they can fix things and other stuff like that. And with this being an open beta from here on out until they decide to full send it, I don't know if like we're going to be able to go to different areas and other things like that, like how it is in other MMO games. I don't know if they have just 2 areas and that's it, or if they're going to have more down the line. I don't know. Overall, the replayability is probably a solid 8. Now, the pros and the cons. So, what does this game have that is pro? And what can the game improve upon? First and foremost, the game is the first of its kind. It's a COZY MMO game. It is very beginner friendly. I had an argument. I mean, it was kind of an argument. It was more of just one person comparing this game heavily to like other MMOs that are not like this MMO. And the overall feedback that I can give for this is it's a cozy, beginner-friendly MMO. It's something to get people interested into MMOs that would otherwise not play MMOs because it's not their style. It's not how they would play. To me, this is like their first step into like, okay, this is what an MMO could be like. How do I get to the end? How do I do all these things? Can I get help if I need help, etc.? This is a very beginner entry level friendly MMO type of game, and that's what it has, and that's what a lot of people are writing on right now, especially being part of the COZY Sim game community. What can the game improve upon for pro-like is definitely focus on making sure there's plenty of content, because if there's not content, then people are not going to play the game. People will get bored with it if there's nothing interesting. If you add something in the near future of like you actually fighting something, whatnot, whatever that may be, cool. That's something that's different. It's interesting. It adds another aspect to the cozy environment, so on and so forth. I would not focus heavily on trying to do that though, but definitely try to add content in. That was just an example of like what you could add into the game to improve upon. Definitely fix the bugs. Try to get the player servers more than 25 people if you can. But also get like your provisional nodes and stuff to respawn faster or have more of them, because there's a lot of nodes that are like really hard to find. And when somebody gets frustrated, they want to quit the game. I was like that yesterday and the day before that when I was looking for a certain material to craft a certain arrow for hunting, and I only found one node of that certain plant type that I needed, and I was just so frustrated and so annoyed with it. So that would be something I would suggest to fix, or at least have a better option of having more of, as well as adding more people, more than 25 people. I know if you probably add more than like 50, it would be like overwhelming hell on lag and everything else like that. So I feel like you may have settled at like 25 to being like the sweet number, where it's not super laggy, but you're able to still do everything you want to without the server crashing. My biggest gripes for con-wise is the nodes. Just not having enough certain nodes and things like that. That would probably be my biggest gripe. My other biggest gripes would probably be around like the bugs that do happen and like there's no fix, no solution for it other than trying to quit the game and come back into the game, or quit for a while and then come back after like a few hours or whatever. It's frustrating whenever you have to deal with that. But I understand, like, things are gonna break. It's a beta. That's what it's there for. It's to break it early. It's to really stress the servers and stress everything that they have currently available content-wise, and so on and so forth. Does it affect my gameplay heavily? Not really. I mean, I do need to take this slow. I don't want to get so invested into it and then have it like Minecraft and come back to it after like 3 to 4 months and then be on that high train and then get frustrated with it again and do the same thing, repeat and process. That would be my feedback to the devs if they ever watch this video. Definitely improve on server quality, your content heavily, because if you don't have enough content, it's going to cause people to leave your game a lot faster than stay in. They did say on their website that it is going to be free to play. The only monetization will be outfits, so you would have to pay real money to get outfits and things like that, which I'm hoping they'll have in-game outfits that you can get rather than just being premium paid things. With that, my rating is Each category has 20 points put into a rating of 10 per category, so each point is worth 2 points. And that's how I got to my 100. So it's an 88 out of 100 for me for Palia so far in the beta. I'm sure it will probably rise in the future, but currently it is at an 88. If you guys would like more information over Palia, the link will be down in the description, and you can use my referral link if you guys would like to sign up and get into the game as soon as possible. Whenever you do join the beta, you will keep your beta character forever, unless you delete it, because your character will continue from here on in the game. And yeah, that was Display Saturday. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and my very casual gamer review over this. So thank you all for watching. I will have another video next week over some tips and tricks that I would recommend following in Palia when you start out, so that way you can get the most experience out of your game. And with that, I will leave it there. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Stay batty. Bye.